Hello everyone, and so in this video I'm going to be showing you how to know what type of YouTube automation channel to actually run. And so this is a topic that I just went over with my students in our community. But to first start off, we're going to go over basically two types of channels. So the first type of channel that you tend to have is called a browse channel. And then the second type of channel that people have is a search-based channel. I personally run both of these. I must admit I do have more experience with browse-based channels. I've been doing that for about 4 years. But then search-based channels I've been doing for about, I'd say, a year and a half. When it comes to browse-based and search-based channels, it's two very, very different strategies that you have to have. So it is niche dependent. Browse-based channels tend to be more news-based niches. It ties to like things that are upcoming. It ties to, let's say, sports, as if we're going specifics, celebs, and search-based. For search-based channels, this more so pertains to, I'd say, how-to content, or basically content that targets keywords, okay? So when it comes to browse-based and search-based channels, okay, with browse-based channels, as I mentioned before, this is more pertaining to news-based niches where you're targeting upcoming TV shows, upcoming sporting events, trending news. Let's say the presidential election or some famous celebrity going to jail. That's where browse-based channels come more into handy. Now, if your niche is more along the lines of where you're not really capitalizing on something trending, you're more so targeting keywords, all right? Keywords using vidIQ, right? This is a tool that I use. This is where the strategies come into play, okay? When you're creating browse-based content, you're more so looking at the past 48 hours. When I mention the past 48 hours is that if you know that something's trending right now and you create a YouTube video topic on it, you should be getting views, okay? It's very easy to get views on a trending topic that's happening now if you just make a video about it. If we take real life examples, let's say, I know P. Diddy just went to jail. If you make a video about P. Diddy, okay? P. Diddy, you should get views within 48 hours. Whereas if you're creating content such as like let's say how-to videos on how to connect your iPad to a computer, right? How-to videos don't necessarily get views within the first 48 hours. Now, in contrast to this, okay? Search-based channels are more steady, they're more reliable, they're more evergreen, whereas browse-based channels, they tend to get in like an influx of views and then they eventually die off. So as far as the curvature for both types of channels go, browse-based channels, they tend to get an influx of views, but then it dies down. And so this is what I like to call like trend chasing, where you always chase one trend after the other. And this is something that I do in my TV shows channels. This is something I do in my celebrity-based channels, where we're always chasing trends, okay? Once the trend dies, it goes back up. Or once the trend dies, it goes back down, but then we find the next trend. So we're always chasing trends, and this is like what our YouTube graph tends to look like. It's not as stable. Whereas with search-based channels, the graph for this one tends to look like a steady increase in views over a long period of time. As I mentioned, I do have experience running both types of channels, but definitely more so browse-based channels. With search-based channels, it's really important that you use tools like vidIQ to target exact match keyword phrases. So anytime someone joins our community and we're going over strategy with them, I kind of mentioned to them, like, what type of channel are you trying to run? Or what type of video topics are you actually creating? Are you creating video topics that target news, upcoming, sports, celebrities, trends? Or is your content more evergreen? Is it how-to based content? Is it content that targets keywords? Are you using vidIQ to actually find these keywords? If so, it doesn't really make sense to be looking at the past 40 hours just because it's going to take time for YouTube to actually recommend your content to the correct audience. Both types of channels are very viable in my opinion. Some may argue that with browse-based channels, you may have a channel that dies after a trend dies. But from doing this for so long, okay, from being in TV shows for so long, from being in sports for so long, for being in celebrities for so long, there's always new trends. You just have to wait for them. And the surprising thing is that trends actually don't have a definitive date when they die, okay? What I mean by this is I actually still have content that was related to a trend like over 3 years ago. It was like a news event that happened like 3 years ago, but the video is still getting views even to this day. So people have this misconception that trends have a definitive date as to when they die, but that's not really the case. Trends can actually last for quite some time. I have videos that I posted about events that happened months ago, about events that happened years ago, but they still tend to get views. Now, with search-based videos, they take time to rank. I'd say anywhere from like 1 to 6 months. But when they do rank, they tend to have they tend to last a long time. Like I have videos getting like 200 views every single day, and although 200 views may not sound like a lot, this eventually adds up, okay? And the more videos that you have ranking, that's how you get to that 100,000 views mark per month, or 500,000 views per month, or a million views per month, is getting videos to rank. When you think about your Faceless YouTube channel and you think about what type of niche are you in a browse-based channel? Are you in a search-based channel? Are you targeting new? Are you targeting upcoming? Or are you creating topics that are more evergreen? And if you are creating topics that are evergreen, I highly recommend that you make sure to target exact match keywords, okay? Exact match keywords. And the reason why is because it just helps with SEO. So in my travel channel, for example, where I talk about travel items, I am using a tool like vidIQ to make sure that I can target exact match keywords that people are typing onto YouTube. To kind of sum this up, if you're in a more search-based channel where your topics can be exact match keywords that people are typing into YouTube, you can't be so analytical to look at the past 48 hours just because it's going to take time for your videos to rank on YouTube. Whereas if you're in a niche where you're targeting more news and upcoming, if you're targeting news that's happening right now, you technically should be getting views within the first 48 hours if you've packaged your video correctly. If you've actually chosen an interesting topic, you know it's in demand, etc. Now, with all this though, one thing I do want to mention is some simple concept called supply and demand. And with supply and demand, okay, you have to make sure that instead of thinking of videos that you think would be good for YouTube, you really have to understand what the demand is on there on YouTube. So demand meaning that if you find videos that are going viral on YouTube and they're getting views, that shows demand. If you find that on social media, a lot of people are talking about a certain subject, that may show demand. If you have friends and family talking about certain subjects, that may show demand. Of coming in this conception that people actually do is that they start with an I standpoint. So what they think is, I think this would be a good video idea. If we take a look at this statement here, I think this would be a good video idea. It doesn't really center around the supply and demand concept, in which you should be looking at what the audience wants. What does your audience want to watch? What is currently circulating out there where there's a demand for? So when people join YouTube, especially in our program, it really boils down to shifting from a point where I think this would be a good video idea and transitioning that to kind of a frame point in which I think my audience would want to watch is more of a better statement. I think my audience would want to watch. If you compare the two statements, okay, and thinking about this supply and demand concept, I think this would be a good video idea. It's very self-centric. It means that only I think it would be a good video idea. But if you start considering your audience and what the demand is on there on YouTube, I think my audience would want to watch blank, or you know that there's a demand for a certain something. This is the framework or kind of ideology that I'm trying to have more and more people think. And it really boils down to what do you think your audience would want to watch? What would your audience want to watch instead of what I think would be a good video idea? So making the shift, because a lot of people always think about what they think would be a good video idea, it really helps to kind of understand what your audience would want to watch and really coupling that with the supply and demand concept, all right? You supplying the videos and there being a demand for your topic. This is an important concept to understand. I'll be going over more strategies as far as how to actually strategize if you have a browse-based channel or if you have a search-based channel. But to kind of sum it up as far as understanding what type of channel is your channel? Is it browse-based or search-based? It'll help you understand that you don't have to be so analytical to look at the past 40-hour analytics if you're in a search-based channel. Or you should be more analytical if you're on a browse-based channel and you've posted a video that should be getting views now. So if you have any comments, questions, or concerns, do let us know down below. And if you're interested in my mentorship, okay, you can check out the link down below for a free webinar and see if you qualify for joining our program. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you all in the next video.